Hey guys, Shane here with One Chip Time, and it is here. It is playoff time. Can you believe it? 2022 playoffs starting tomorrow. So we got to get our prediction video in today. This is our second time doing this. We did this last year, of course, too. Didn't do so hot, so we had Tampa going out in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we had Colorado winning, so that didn't work out so well. And this year, let's start it off in the West. We got Colorado and Nashville starting it off. Surprisingly, Nashville won the season series, I think 3-2, but 2 of those games did go to overtime, so a solid series all year. The biggest thing is, of course, in the game against Calgary, UC Soros did go down. If he's not making it back for the playoffs, I don't know. Of course, everyone's being really tight-lipped on how serious this injury is. If he has any choice, he'll be playing game 1, but we got Riddick backing him up, which of course could be concerning. Colorado Avalanche have been the best team most of the year. They did have a bit of a slow end to it, but I don't think that stops them. I think Colorado wakes up and does take this first round series against Nashville. In the second series, we have the Wild and the Blues. And this is a damn close one. This one, there was only a 4-point difference in the season point total between these two teams. They were both extremely hot to end the season. St. Louis did win all 3 of the games, but most of these games take place a long time ago, so I wouldn't put a lot of weight into that. This has been a different team since the acquisition of Marc-Andre Fleury. Having Marc-Andre Fleury and Talbot as your combo, I think puts you in a really good place to make a long run, and we'll see if they can do it. I think I'm going to give this one to the Wild as well. I think with the tandem of good goaltending and guys like Kirill Kaprizov and just the team they have assembled, I think they're getting past them. In the third one, we got the Flames and the Stars. This is a rematch from 2 years ago, but these are 2 totally different teams. Calgary won the season series 2-1. And we've got the battle of the Jakes. It's Jacob Ottinger versus Jacob Markstrom. I got to give the edge to Jacob Markstrom on that one. The Stars can upset. Don't get me wrong there, but I'd have to say that the Darryl Sutter effect in the playoffs is something that has to be considered. Calgary's got one of the best lines in the league. They're one of the best teams 5-on-5, and I think they're going to take this one. That's going to bring us to the fourth one, which is the Oilers and Kings. Oilers won this season series 3-1. One of those games was quite handily. Otherwise, they were all 1-goal games. So the biggest story of this series, I think, is that Drew Doughty's out. I think that's a huge blow to LA and puts a real dent into their chances. On the other side, we've got the streaky Smith. I mean, at the beginning of the year, they were talking about trading him for a bag of pucks. Now, at the end of the year, he's on one of the best streaks in his career, and people are praising him. So, which Smith do we get come playoff time? I think that's going to be extremely important. The Oilers have Draisaitl and McDavid. Let's not even forget about those 2, of course. So, I think. At the end of the day, this is going to be just too much for LA. I think even with Doughty, this is just too much for them, and I think Oilers will take this one. All right, out east, we got Florida and the Capitals. Now, Florida did win the season series 2-1. Another injury story. I hate that we have to start almost all these with injuries, but Ovi had that shoulder injury right at the end of the season. And you talk about a player that's instrumental to a team. If they don't have Ovi, what are they going to do, right? Especially against the Panthers, who have just come off their best season in franchise history, their first ever President's Trophy. The pesky Capitals can definitely still be in it. They take after Tom Wilson, but I just don't know that that's enough, and I definitely have the Panthers getting past them, probably even only in, I'd say 5 games or so. I'm not necessarily doing games, but I think this is going to be one of the shorter ones. That's going to bring us to Tampa and Toronto. They did split the season series 2-1. The most recent one, of course, fresh in everyone's mind, is that 8-1 defeat. Now, does that motivate Toronto as well as all the years of past failure, which is really mounting? It's a lot of pressure on them. Do they get it done? I don't know. There's, of course, the goalie questions. Campbell, again, he's the opposite of Smith. At the beginning of the year, he was playing outstanding. Now he's playing average. He's doing enough to get the wins, but when you got Vasilevsky, who's absolutely insane at the other side of the ice, I mean, that's a tough ask. I also have to give the experience edge, of course, to Tampa, who's on back-to-back Stanley Cups. I'd like to see you be wrong on this one, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Tampa again. Number 3, Carolina versus Boston. I think this one could be really good. I mean, Carolina did sweep the season series 3-0, but again, injuries notes to start. Freddie Anderson has been out. They have done quite well in his absence, though. Let's not. They are on a 6-game winning streak to end the series. So, but I mean, on the other side of the ice, they do have Allmark and Swayman, who have both been playing some really good hockey. So definitely for them, having 2 goalies is really handy. We'll see. The perfection line. This is probably their last kick of the can, and I think they're going to get it done. I think this is going to go the distance. This is going to go all 7 games, but I think Boston does squeak this one out. In the 4th, we have Pittsburgh and the New York Rangers. New York Rangers winning the season series 3-1 on that one. I think the Rangers' young core matches up against kind of, again, we talked about the Boston's last kick of the can. I think for a lot of the Pittsburgh players, they're definitely getting up there. They've had this same core for a long time. This is going to be one of their last kicks at it. So it will be an interesting dynamic of the young versus the old. And I think there's some pretty decent goaltending on both sides. Jari, I don't know, he really struggled last year in the playoffs. I don't see that coming from Shesterkin. I think he is going to steal this one, and I think the Rangers win basically on his back. But I mean, they also have a lot of great players. I'm not going to discount the rest of the Rangers team, but I think this is going to be one of the ones where you see a goalie absolutely just steal a series. All right, and then in the second round, we'll go back to the West. In the first of the 2 matchups in the West, we got the Wild and the Avalanche. Now, I have the Avalanche winning kind of more easily, especially because, as we talked about, missing Saros. But I have the Wild going in a big battle against the Blues. So I think the Wild are going to come into this tired, and I think the Colorado Avalanche are going to, unfortunately, quite easily take this one. I think it's going to be another quicker one. I hope Fleury can prove me wrong and just absolutely put on a show. But a lot of these times I'm not going with my heart. I'm going with what I think in my head is going to go. Whether that's correct or not, we'll see in a couple weeks' time. It's probably not correct either. And then in the second match in the West, I think this is one everyone wants to see, and that would be in a Battle of Alberta in the second round. Oh yes, please. I think the Oilers have played good. But the Flames have 5 complete lines. They're built for playoff hockey with a coach. Again, prove me wrong. I'd like Draisaitl and McDavid. This is a nasty Oiler team. I would not put money on this by any stretch of the imagination. That's for sure. So the Oilers could definitely upset. I think this is going all the way to 7. But I think the Flames will just take this with their physicality. And from the Battle of Alberta to the Battle of Florida, I think this is where the crown finally perhaps gets passed, and I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning will fall to the Panthers, and finally we'll have a new champion coming out of Florida, and I think the Panthers are going to go on a good run, and rightfully so after eliminating the Cup champs. In the other battle on the East, we do have the Bruins and the Rangers. And, oh man, I think this is a team that can get under your skin. And if any team can do it, it's the Boston Bruins. And I think they might be able to get into Shesterkin's head and the Bruins in general with their pesky play. And again, they have some really good players. So I actually have this one coming up really close, but I do have the Bruins winning. Alright, and now in the Western Conference Finals, I have the Flames and the Avs. And honestly, this is where I really want to be wrong. But I think any team that gets out of that Battle of Alberta in the second round is going to be so beat up that the Colorado Avalanche are going to just pick them apart. Again, I hope I'm wrong. But I think this is going to be a great battle. Again, not pushovers by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have Colorado going to the Stanley Cup Finals, where they'll meet the winner of my Eastern Conference predictions, which is Boston and Florida. Again, this is going to be an instant classic. The Bruins, I believe, will break that curse, the kind of the reputation they built up over the last couple of years of not being able to get past the second round by getting to the conference finals. But I do believe that is where it ends, as Florida is just a very complete team, and I think they're going to make it in battle to their Stanley Cup final, and that's only the second time they've ever been there. And again, that's going to bring us to the final of the Florida Panthers versus the Colorado Avalanche. And I know I said it last year, but I think the Colorado Avalanche just have a team built for winning the Stanley Cup. I think they had some questions in goal with Darcy Kemper at the beginning of the year. I think he's answered those. I think Florida is going to put up a huge battle. I think this could be one of the best Stanley Cup finals in the year, if this of years and years, if this is what we actually get. But I don't know. We'll see how my predictions go. Let me know how your predictions go in the comments below. If you could like this video and share it around, that would mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you haven't already and you think this is the kind of content you enjoy. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next episode.